haven't said, I can't speak English, I'm learning. What a fucking great way to start a documentary. Hello.
I've learned a little bit.
Have I what, been ill since?
I've learned a little bit.
Tabbert, you were going to talk to us about some of the people in the audience.
Before we kind of get into this conversation, quickly, I want to acknowledge all the people that have worked in
this
the
is
film.
beyond the bios that you all put in.
Yes.
And has anyone seen their bios? They're all like 10 pages long. That's all right too, because you deserve that. Because to tolerate me for this amount of time, I think is remarkable.
Right, so just, I want to make sure that we don't run out of time and mention a couple of people. So first,
You'll run out of sentences a long time before I run out of time.
well, I want to thank the Tribeca Film Festival for having us and all the programmers and the staff. And yeah, so there's people here tonight that have been on this journey with me for many years.
Sorry.
I would especially like to thank Tyler Brody, the producer, for his generous support and from the very beginning, as well as his brother Cameron, and producers Hunter Gregg and Phelan Papadopoulos for their hard work in realizing this film. Yeah. And this film could not have been without Rambo Stevens.
Rambo! Rambo, come and take a fucking bow. The best manager I have ever known. Let me explain. Right, now, you know, in the documentary you can see I worked with a lot of managers through the years, all professionals, right? The only person I learned to ever trust was the bloke I grew up with from the fucking council flats. This is the essence of it, be true to your word. If you tell no lie, you get no probs. Do I not answer them? You're a liar!
John.
No, serious. Give Rambo a really serious round. And my lovely wife, Nora. And there's Brucey Smith, the drummer. Look at him looking coy as usual. These are my friends. And there's Alan. We don't work anymore, but we'll always be friends forever. Because that's what public image is. Friends. How's your English?
Yeah, well, okay, let me just get through these names because I don't want to forget everyone. No, because it's important because there's Eric Pritchard here, the editor, who's gonna take James Brown's nickname as the hardest working man in show business. Gabo, who's my dear friend from childhood, is the sound designer.
Oh, look, I've got a friend here too. Michael! Iago!
Yes, Jill Lane, the post-production supervisor, Dean Shelley, our fair use lawyer, and of course, DP, Yamit Shimonovich, who's also my wife, and helped in so many ways other than shooting it so nicely. So, besides that, we also have a lot of...
a cigarette, because this list is...
Okay, real quick. Michael Alago, Maureen Baker, Janet Beckman, Alan Diaz, Paul Doherty, Vivian Goldman, Alan Horowitz, I don't know if he's here, Marcel Resnick, Bruce Smith, Bob Tulipan. And I'm sorry if I miss anyone beyond that. Okay.
And Maureen, you mustn't forget Maureen Baker. Right? These are old people that helped me when I was young, and I'll never forget you. You'll never love me, it's not possible. But you tried.
We can't say that we aren't giving credit tonight to the people that have earned it, so thank you.
It's for me, this was, see, this is the first time I've seen it like this, and there's so much missing. That's the trouble when you do a documentary about anything at all, because it leads into all of the other aspects, in particular what public image is now and how musically evolved our last couple of albums are. So for me it's like almost like all of my family isn't here. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And so We knew this, didn't we? You know, when we started, like, we were looking at like 16 hours of footage and thinking that would be just a little bit too much. But I've seen the Grateful Dead live. I thought it was possible.
John, speak. I mean, the one thing you get from this
It's
documentary.
very hard to hear you echoing.
Okay. The one thing you certainly get from this documentary is.
No, seriously, I can't hear you. Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, but they can't hear.
We can repeat it later.
Okay.
Well, they'll have to come back tomorrow night when we've sorted the microphones out. Yes, Pappy.
One thing you get from this documentary is how much PIL evolves every month, it seems.
I would hope so, because if you've got any kind of an existence or appreciation of your life, it must always be about achieving further and further and further and progressing. For me, when this first started tonight, the footage of my mother, oh my God, I was in tears there. I miss her so bad, right? And she died a horrible, cancerous death. And the song Deaf Disco, I don't know if we quite got the message across to you. I wrote that watching her slowly die of cancer. So by the time we got to record it in Peel, the tragedy was like tenfold. And so to this day, Public Image, we still perform Deaf Disco, but we expand on it, because not only have I got that, the death of my mum, but all my friends have died of stupid rock deaths, and then my father, and the list goes on and on and on. I don't know how to cope with death very well, except to tell you, as a human being, I'm going to miss every single fucking one of you. This is my nature. This is what Public Image is trying to tell you. We're a little bit different from your crazy ass rock and roll. And you want to call it corporate, and I mean, you know, we were throwing that at you there earlier, and obviously certain other members were confused by the terminology, but that was the point. Fuck terms. Come to terms with each other as a human being. Welcome to Peel. Yeah.
What surprised you about the process of looking back over 30 odd years of footage and bandmates and...
I don't like the recent footage. I look fucking wrinkled and fat. I mean, you know, you fuckers, you promised me you'd make me look young. Do you know what he said? He goes, don't worry, John, we use polyfiller and Vaseline on the lens. But the point is, no, that's what it is, right? That's the mood of the day, accuracy. So there's no real conceit at all. I'm teasing you when I say that. And I got to tell you, like, oh, I love you, Tav, you know this. We're fucking so solid as mates, you know? Do you remember that little badge you showed me once? You went, oh, you think PIL is original? And oh, tell them.
Well, I come from Mexico, and for 70 years there was a sort of there was the same party for 70 years, having mock elections and stuff like that. And that party is PRI. And their logo is very similar to Bill's logo, so I gave John one of their badges.
They're political. Am I political? Would you think I was political? Yeah.
They're afraid to answer, John.
Personal politics. If you mean no harm to your fellow human beings, I think that's the best kind of politics you can be involved with.
I'm going to endorse that. How did this happen? Who approached who about doing a documentary?
Well, so the production company, very similar to Hunter, Tyler, Fedon, somehow got together with...
Oh, shut up, the last lot were rubbish and you got the job because you weren't.
Yeah, I mean, so a friend recommended me Toby, who also did additional cinematography in the film. recommended me to them, and I tried really hard to get it.
Did you say yes?
It's astounding because I'm not the kind of bloke that likes to do this kind of thing. I don't like to open up like that. And it requires a really specific, friendly, accurate, personable personality to get me to talk like that at all. You know this, my whole life, I've been a closed shop. People think, I'm hard as nails. I'm not. I'm soft as butter. I do well.
So
I found it to be the best masturbation cream in the world.
You know what, John? Like, I have to tell you something, because when I found out about the Sex Pistols, I wanted to find anything that I could. And one of the things, and I know now that a lot of the things written about the Sex Pistols is not true, but one of the things that stuck with me, it said that you cultivated your zits by rubbing butter on them.
Yeah, it was fantastic. This was an original lie I used to tell to the British press. That they went, "Oh, how comes you're so spotty?" Well, of course, it was nothing to do with amphetamine sulfate. And crate. And we're back to masturbation cream. Au natural.
how long did you guys work on it? How long did it take you to make this movie?
Well, it was, since I started, it was about 4.5 years.
Years and years. It became indecisive at one point, and then deliberate again, and then indecisive. And, I've got to say again, Hunter, thank you very much for your persistence and tolerance. Stand up, Hunter, please. Come on. That's how you spend wealthy people's money. Come on, Hug, stand up proper. They've got no right to disrespect you with that mediocre applause. Rousey, Hunter! We've become very, very good friends, right? Just because of the honesty and the integrity. Because there isn't much lies going on here. We can't afford that. You've only got one life to live. Don't fuck it up with fibs. You've seen some of the band members, haven't you? They're fucked up.
John, another thing that comes through in the movie is that you have an instinctive sense of a vision. You have a whole artistic vision, from the art to the marketing to how you want it to be perceived. How did that develop in you? What gave you that savvy and that artistic?
I don't know if you came across kind of it, but at 7 I got meningitis. What they did was they put me into a coma. And that lasted about 3 months, and thank God for the British National Health Service that they didn't pull the plug. I could be dead.
Oh my God.
For that. But when I came out of it, it took me something like 4 years to fully recover my memory. I did not know, not even my own name, but not even my own mother and father. Nothing, zero. I couldn't even hold a spoon. I couldn't walk, talk, all motive skills were gone. I somehow came through that, and I had to relearn. And it wasn't the education system that was helping me, it was the local library, which I obviously ignored the nuns and the priests, but the local library system. So to this day, don't allow governments to remove your libraries. There, but for the grace of God, go I. And the more you read, the more you learn about yourself through other people's achievements. And the greater gift in life is not imitating other people's achievements, but learning your own inside of their efforts. And there it is, that's John. I can't sing like anyone else. I mean, I might be able to, but I'm really not fucking prepared for that. I've got my own pains, my own tortures, my own things to share with you. As indeed you all have with me. And that's the proper form of music. It's not Sting does jazz. You know?
John, when you were a kid, what was some of the music that first spoke to you? That first really
Everything,
moved
all
you?
music.
Name a song.
No, I can't do it. Well, little boxes, green ones and yellow ones, blue ones too. And listen, no, ha ha ha. This is, when we were young, in England, the radio stations would only play classical music. Right? And then there was this breakthrough. They would start playing silly little kiddie songs. But it was a breakthrough. It was outside of having to listen to Mantovani. Right? Or Strauss, or that mindless rubbish. By the way, I'll never put Mozart down because Requiem is one of my favourite tunes which I played at my father's funeral. And it's unfinished, which I think is it's an aside for you, but the idea of a requiem that's unfinished, I think, is the hardest love you can share with your own father. Unfinished, because it is an unfinished sympathy and empathy. Okay, we'll meet again. There is no end. Anyway, I digress. That's when pop music started on the radio. Little boxes and silly little songs like I saw a mouse there on the stair, right there. A little mouse with clogs on going. These are the things I grew up with at 3 and 4. But they were great, and that was pre-Beatles. By the time Sgt. Pepper's came along, that was fucking naff shit to me, you know? That was a bunch of hippies with, trombones. And so there it goes, but my open-mindedness towards music was always there. Where I come from, Finsbury Park, we call it Arsenal land. We're very, very mixed race. I mean, you see Reggie up there, and Rambo and me, and I mean, you know, we're licorice all sorts, us lot. And that's, I think, the best way for the human race to be. I don't want to see ghettoisation. All the whites live in those little boxes, and all the blacky ones over there. Fuck off, man. Mix them now. And that's public image for you. Look at the variety of people that understand and appreciate this. Now, what's your fucking excuse? Answers on a postcard, please. You're very quiet.
Love you,
I have
John.
this effect, usually on women, but...
John, you've made your home here now for many years. Do you, is the diversity that you're talking about, is that something that you like about America? Is that one reason why?
I don't like rules. I like to understand what rules are, and I like to observe them, but then I come to the ultimate conclusion that rules are for fools. But before you reach that point, you've got to know what the rules are in order to call out fools. And so everything is about study in life. It really is. Otherwise, you're ill-equipped to have an opinion. We're back to Sting.
This is a sting-free zone, I promise.
He's a mate of mine, I can do this. He's the man who practiced, was it 15 hours of sex, is it? What, without drugs, you fucking liar.
Tell me, Tabert, can you talk about, you've got such great footage from, all over the world, great concert footage. Can you talk about excavating and finding all that great footage? How did you go about it? And did John help? Did he help or hinder?
No, he didn't hinder, but he didn't help with that part either. But Rambo did, and Scotty, who works with Peel as well. Scotty is a great kind of example of how Peel works, because Scotty was
Scotty Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How teamwork we are.
Yeah.
It's really important you translate that.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty started making first a fanzine just with photocopies, named The Filth and the Fury, which like the documentary then kind of took the title from there. But then he made a website which everyone should check out. It's called fatherstomp.com. I mean, now
To say again.
fatherstomp.com is like a name of a song in the first record. You won't be able to spell it. Yeah, and he's like an amazing resource. He's collected so much footage and photographs. And
He has an accurate brain and an absolute love of detail and fact, which, you know, from time to time, a lot of us could be vague about. But
Time passes.
a pedantic fanatic, but with a true sense of love. And you'll understand what public image is really when you really go into research these songs and you really check out what every single line and every note is about. It's about that generosity of spirit, where we don't judge each other too harshly and we accept each other for our better signs, our better tour de forces. It's public image, man. You know, come on. You know, do you really want Duran? Wild Boys?
But yeah, so we got a lot of footage from Scotty and Rambo, also scoured archives with Sheila Manner, who's here, our archivist. She searched a lot of archives for us, and we also asked fans to send their stuff, and we got a lot of great stuff from fans.
What was it like for you, John, to see this sort of soundtrack of the
Hell on earth to sit there tonight, right? Knowing you're all looking at me and making sure I'm not nodding appropriately. Listen, I've never enjoyed watching myself in that way, do you know? I had that when I was ill, you know, when I couldn't remember who I was, and people telling me, like, who I was, and that universal struggle I've been through all my life. I mean, who the fuck am I? I don't really know. But I'm trying to find out by being accurate and honest with you. That's all I can do. And like, I'd love to love myself, but I think the best move is if I learn to love all of you first. All right? That's it. That's Pill. Right?
In the movie, John, you say that during the period when Pill was dormant and you took in I'm sorry. In the period when Pill was dormant and you said you took in Nora's grandchildren, that you learned a lot about
them.
Yeah. What did you learn about yourself?
Well, hello, Nora. It's Nora's daughter, Ariana. She could not handle the twins by the time they reached 14, and it was impossible.
I have a 16-year-old, so I get it.
Well, it was an unwed mother with two twins that were running rampant, and so we decided to take them on, and that was my idea. Nora thought this would be chaos and ruin our lives. Luckily enough, it was chaos and ruined our lives. But it was lovely. It was the parent-teacher association meetings that I started to go to. You know, and have rows where the teachers go, oh, well, they really don't need to learn sentence structure. You know, I've got a lot of hatred for too much liberal in education. I know that I would never have learned anything unless I really had to struggle for it. And if it's handed so conveniently easy to you, I don't care what kind of child you are, you're not going to pay attention. Right? That's it. I come from the school of hard knocks. I really don't know any other way. Right? And yet I'm bruise-free. It's a difficult thing raising children like that. But I've always been good with kids from a very early age, from my younger brothers. When my dad worked away from home, my mum was always ill, just permanently, couldn't help it, died of cancer, you know, eventually. But I would I'd be the one cooking the porridge in the morning and making the tea for my brothers and putting their socks on and stuff and taking them to school. Yeah, I still didn't quite know their names, but I knew they needed help, right? And that's how I am. So I suppose there's a bit of a nursey Dr. Carey bloke in me, really genuinely. No, you laugh at that, but I mean, why else would I have done it? I'm not naturally indifferent to the plight and requirements of other people. I do that instinctively. And it was a real rare pleasure then, so 4 or 5 years later, to realise that I was actually related to these people and they actually were significant. But the bigger point being, they would have been significant to me anyway. And there's where I rise. And may the run rise with you.
Given this aspect of your personality, when you look back at the Johnny Rotten days, does that person surprise you, or was that person a character?
I'm only 61 years young. I mean, this is like, I suppose, the first fart out of the stalls, isn't it? I've got an awful long time yet ahead of me, right? This is, I'm not Pete Townsend here. Hope I die before I get old. I hope I get old before I die. Are you not with me on that? And that's how we should live, you know? We're not youth culture, we're a culture. We're human beings. Look out for each other. And buy more pill records.
Can you talk to us, John, about how your process, how you like to write songs, how you like to record?
Through personal experience. Every line is heartfelt by me. There's no throwaway lines, there's no like useless dialogue in any song. They're all directly related to personal experiences. I really don't know how to tell it any other way. I suppose you could call that storytelling, but it's not really stories, it's slices of real experience. And I mean, I could go on a monologue here and, like, you know, badmouth everybody in the world that's like, you know, ever put their voice to a song, but it's every name I've mentioned so far. Please understand that that's out of some kind of sense of love because they've made an achievement. Everybody who goes through the process of writing a song, recording it, and then releasing it and dealing with the criticism of music critics has my complete love and support, except Sting.
Do you write on your own, or do you prefer the collaborative setting?
It's all about personal experience. It has to be. What is the point of this? This isn't Public Image Limited. This is the story of my life. This is how I found myself again. Right? No, you lose yourself for like all those years when you're young and you're desperate for an outlet to really tell your story and share that and find that there are other people in the world that have gone through equal pain and in fact worse than me. I'm lucky. I landed lucky and I'm well aware of that. It's a sad thing, but as human beings we don't tell each other our stories anyway near enough, well enough.
We have a whole festival here dedicated to telling stories.
Yeah, but you're a liar.
Does songwriting, does music, does it ever come easier?
If it's not from the heart, what is the point? What is the point? There are many people that make records for the money, but you can tell, can't you? You know, it's like, it's vacuous and it's on like Sirius radio all day long, or Howard Stern. You know, it's pointless, that kind of stuff. It's a vacuous waste of your energy. It just fills in a hollow. while you're not thinking enough about yourself. But the real storytellers, the poets, the writers, and the songsmiths, those are the ones that really matter. Now, I'm not in any way, shape or form saying I'm there. As I said, I'm only 61 years old. I'm learning my trade. But I hope to be there at some point, that you realise that what I do is I'm a folk singer, and I sing for my folk, from my heart and soul. And that's it. And I can be good or bad at that. That's your decision. But it's the best I can do. This is all I can do. This is all God's given me as a gift.
I can't think of a better note to end on than that. Thank you so much.